Welcome back. Welcome back to the League of Hustlers. I'm your co-host HT,
I'm CD Barnes.
and of course, this is where we prepare to prosper at the League of Hustlers. And today, we wanted to just give a recap of the Kevin Hart and Jay-Z interview, right? Really dope interview, really insightful conversation. It's not every day that you get to hear insights from two highly successful people in their own right. Of course, Kevin Hart being in the comedy field and business field as well. And as well as, of course, Jay-Z, a billionaire, coming from the music game and venturing into all sorts of things, such as the champagne, the clothes, the um, music apps, Title, right? So Ace of Spades and Rockaware and this and that, and the marketing company. I think it's translation media, and then what else? Like just all kind of stuff, right? But we wanted to give a recap and highlight some of the key points that were made, some things that stood out to us that I'm sure you will find beneficial if you haven't seen the whole thing, or if you watched it and you kind of breezed over these points. We just wanted to talk about some of them, right? Um, so yeah, let's pull it up, man. So right here, first point. What was the first one? You remember what was
What you
said?
got? Let's see, man. I believe the first point was
Let's see.
maybe about the roadmap.
Right. So right there, one thing I wanted to point out about this one is just the fact of like this is what we're doing with the League of Hustlers, right? Creating that roadmap, right? And just showing the way, showing and giving context to um entrepreneurship, and the inner workings, right? What goes on behind the scenes and leaving that legacy for the next generation. What you think about that, bro?
Um, that is exactly, that's exactly the play, man. Share knowledge and build wealth. That's kind of one of the first mantras we started off with at the League of Hustlers, and that's exactly what that point was. Being able to progress in life, it's a blessing. You know what I mean? If you're fortunate enough to progress, it's up to you, and it's definitely a responsibility to be able to share that information with someone coming behind you, and then that way they can, particularly someone, if you can share with someone younger. Imagine if you have the game that you have now, the information that you have now. If you had it and understood it at a younger age, it would be much further. So that's the kind of responsibility. Once you become successful, taking that responsibility of sharing information and make sure people coming behind you are able to understand, digest it, and repeat and take it to a whole new level.
Watch, rinse, and repeat.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
And that was if you have been following us for a while, or if you go back and watch our older content, we would say that all the time. Share knowledge and build wealth. That's our mantra, right? That's the mantra in the League of Hustlers. Share knowledge, build wealth. All right. And we do it together. Okay. The next point that they brought up during this interview. All right. Let me pause this and boom.
it's actually a privilege that we have the responsibility to, you know, usher in this whole new generation because again, it's still all new to us. Rap is 40 years old, 50 years old. That's still pretty young, you know, and you build it on that. You build it on Red Fox and his entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and so with this one, just to point out, it's like we got a responsibility, right? And it's kind of piggybacking off that last point, we have a responsibility to paved the way. I remember being in college and, we started this organization called Black Men for Change, right? BMC, still going on to this day. Shout out Black Men for Change at Winston-Salem State University, right? And that was that was the motto, right? Paving the way for for future generations, paving the way for future generations and stuff like that. So I think if we are to truly, if we're truly about the culture, we're truly about empowerment and advancing the culture. If we're truly about that, you have to pave the way for the next generation, right? And again, that's the whole point of the League of Hustlers, right? So this point stood out to me for that respect right there, from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And just to, we know, you know what I mean, in any culture, you know what I mean, not just ours, but in any culture, you know what I mean, you have the good and the bad. And, you know what I mean, a lot of times there's a lot of the bad parts of the culture floating around, and a lot of people gravitate towards that. So, you know what I mean, if you're in the lane doing some positive things, like you have that responsibility to put that out there, to be influential, take that opportunity to show somebody else the way, you know
Right.
um because a lot of times, like I said, there's all this bad stuff. We always hear about the bad, but it's very rare, you know what I mean, that you can actually hear good information. And that's because the people that are being successful, when we have to take that responsibility to make sure we're disseminating that information down, passing it, sharing that knowledge, and helping others build wealth as well.
Super duper important, man. Super important. Pave the way.
Pave
All
the
right,
way.
this next one.
Think about that. Knowing and doing it's not close. You think it's this close? It's this far. It's far. You know, so I knew the right thing to do, but I wasn't able to put it together. I finally went.
Knowing and doing, right? The distance between knowing and doing. That is a very, very, very critical thing, right? And again, if you go back to our older episodes, we would have the challenge, right? At the end of every episode. And we would talk about how it's about taking action. You got to take action, right? Take action. It's not enough to just listen to the show. It's not enough to
Mm-hmm.
just watch and read the content and, consume the content, right? And we're just gorging on information. We're just feeding, and getting, full and fat off of this information. But you got to get out there and do. You got to get out there and take action, right? It's about taking action. You have to take action. You can't just consume. You have to produce. It's critical.
Yeah, I think of like Kobe Bryant with that. You know what I mean? That's the first person that comes to mind. I mean, like
Uh,
like what your goal is, and you know what you have to do, but then you have to actually be able to execute that. And one thing about it is it takes practice. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he was kind of describing when he was saying, like, it's miles apart from knowing what you have to do and actually being able to do it. And that gap, to fill that gap, it takes practice. You have to, it may not be perfect at first, but just start working on the thing, start doing it,
right.
execute, practice the execution of it, and just repeating that action, man. And then takes time, but just stick to it, and practice being an executioner, period. Some of that is, you may know what to do and the task could be simple, but you just may be putting it off or procrastinating. So, I think it's different levels to that, but all in all, man, just practice being an executioner.
That's it. Little by little, take them small steps, right? And here's the last point, that stood out.
So, we've been trained to look at the percentage of something. Oh, right? It ain't what you own. You don't own 100% of nothing, right? It's whatever the strategy calls for, right? Like Ace, LVMH was a brilliant strategic partner. Like we were doing this out of our office. With nothing to find the Cartiers who've been in business since the 1800s. Like there's no one that looks like us in Champagne. It's such a small place, very small. Not even people that live in the area can penetrate Champagne, right?
And that's this point right here that he made has been something that I've been screaming for years, right? And working with different companies, working with different groups, and on different projects, man. Just over time, it's something that irks me, especially within our culture, right? Everybody wants to be the head, right? Everybody wants to be the guy. Everybody wants 100%, right? But what he said was, what's 100% of zero? Right? That's a critical question to ask. Or what's 100% of 1,000? Right? 1,000. Whereas if you would partner, if you would be willing to give up some of that control, give up some of that ownership, right? And instead of being able to profit 1,000, you're able to profit 100,000, right? Through the right partnerships or the right connections. Instead of being able to do six figures, in the business, if you were to partner, right, and give up some of that ownership, maybe you're able to do seven figures, right? But like you pointed out, Steve Jobs had 1% of Apple, and looking at it like, oh, 1%, like that's nothing. But Apple is a multi-trillion-dollar company. You see what I'm saying? And 1% of a trillion is 10 million. You see what I'm saying? So I think in our culture, we got to get off of that tip where everybody wants to be the guy. Everybody wants to be the CEO. Everybody wants to be the person in front. You see what I'm saying? Like we got to get away from that and start working on partnerships. I've been in a situation where I've offered to take, second seat. I've offered to take, CMO or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever other role, just so that the project can succeed, just so the company can succeed. I think we need more of that. And here it is coming from somebody that's in the culture, and also someone that is highly successful in their own right. He's telling you, he's giving you the game like, yo, we got to get off of that partnerships and being able to position yourself with the right deals. It's going to require you to give up some type of ownership, right? And so it's about looking at the bigger picture and the bigger vision, right? And the bigger potential of whatever project or business that you're working on, right? What you think, bro?
Yeah, 100%, man. Choosing the right partnerships is key. It's very clear. Like you said, you can own 100% of a project, and your profit could be, $100 a month per se. But with the proper partnerships, let's say you get you partner with somebody who's a mover in that space, and let's say they can take that $100 a month and turn that into, $100,000 a month. But you're going to have to give up some equity in the company, right? Obviously, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. So I think that's a big thing. You know what I mean? Definitely partnering is huge. It's something that if you're able to do it, do it. But you have to do your due diligence and kind of look at the situation from different angles and perspectives and choose wisely. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can also choose partnerships that will devalue. You know what I mean? You'll start with that 100, and then next thing you know, you just got $50 a month. You know what I mean? So you have to just choose wisely. You know, but definitely partnering is the play. Um, so choose wisely, guys. Partner up.
Yeah, like they used to say, man, everybody want to be the chief, right? Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. You know what I mean? And so just like CD said, man, choose wisely. But that's it
Yeah.
for this episode, right? Just wanted to bring you those quick, you know, nuggets that they dropped during this interview, but yeah, man, Dream Stream strategy is on the way. Make sure you lock in, make sure you subscribe, okay, to be notified as soon as we drop it. I'm telling you, don't want to miss it. We're teaching you how to create multiple streams of income. Take your side hustles and turn them into passive streams, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. All right. That's what we're teaching you with the Dream Stream strategy. So stay locked in. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you got for him, brother?
League of Hustlers. That's it, guys. You know what to do, man. Like, subscribe, share, stay locked in to the League of Hustlers.
Sure.